down the hall on the same floor as me, having a conversation, just about stuff. It wasn't about the case. It was about, what they had done the past week and how each other was doing. So I really wasn't paying attention. I was focusing in on what I was doing, and I could just hear them in the background. So all of a sudden, now we happen to be there in October. All of a sudden I hear something say, are you going to be there? Are we going to be there on September 10th? So I'm like, so that caught my attention. And I turn and I say, Tracy, Christine, why are we booking something out almost a year in advance? I'm like, it's October. Why are we booking out so far? What's going on? And they're just looking at me like, what? What's going on? So we went back and forth for a while, and I was, I had known at that point, because we all trust each other. We're all like family. We put a lot of trust in each other. If somebody says something, somebody says they didn't say anything, then we believe it. I knew at that point when they first said that they didn't say anything that I had just heard something that wasn't one of them speaking. And I was just looking for some sort of normal explanation, some sort of comfort as to what I had heard. And as they kept going back and forth saying it wasn't them, it just kept sinking in deeper and deeper. So I got September 10th. So we yelled down to one of our investigators on the first floor, go ask the family for the heck of it to see if September 10th means anything to them. And you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Of course, he comes running back in and says, September 10th is the date that the daughter passed away.
Wow.
Unfortunately. So
that's heavy.
At that point, I remembered that as soon as I walk into a building, I turn on my recorder and I leave it running throughout the whole night. And I had put the recorder halfway up the stairs when I started setting up the camera. So as soon as I got home, I reviewed it, and I got the word September. That's what I captured. It sounds a little different than what I had heard. It's in the spectrum that we can hear. It's not assigned to any of the girls' vocal signatures. So it absolutely was somebody other than us three. So it was one of those moments where you're not scared, but you're like, wow, what just happened? You know what I mean? There hasn't been I haven't really been scared of anything yet, at least. Nothing negative, no demons or anything. I have come across spirits that are, probably were a jerk in life. That's the way I look at things. If you're a jerk in life, there's good and bad people on this earth. And when you pass, I have a feeling that you're probably going to stay the same person. I've come across those types of EVPs and stuff, but nothing I would say was, pure evil or anything like that.
Why let something like death change you, Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have very close friends, like Andrea Perrin, who I trust, and like Keith Johnson, who have experienced, very demonic cases and stuff like that. And I believe them. They're my friends. But it just hasn't happened to me yet,
Right.
We captured one time, Max and I, you were talking about how it sounded different. And there was just 3 of us that night on investigation. It was Max and a former member and myself. Mm-hmm. And we were at this place and we were getting a lot of good activity. We got a lot of good activity on the K2 meter, and all this stuff was going on. And of course we had our recorders going, and it just happened to be just Max and I at that point. And I went through my little spiel. Now, most of the time, and I say this, most of the time, Max and I don't investigate together, because I'll take people, we don't investigate together. Well, at this particular time, there was only 3 of us, so he and I were there, and the other member had went to get some equipment and some more equipment. And so we're up there on the second floor, And I go through my little, we're not here to harm you in any way. We just want to make contact with you, And I always say that. And I say, we just want to talk with you. And Max says, do you believe her? And I turned to look at him because I'm like, nobody ever says, do you believe her? And I looked at him. And when I did, we heard this voice, and it was like, no. I mean, it just like really. And we look at each other. He got mad at me because I said something like, that was really cool. But I might have said an expletive
right.
in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, I'm recording. But anyway, when he plays it back, it almost sounds digitized.
Oh, really?
It didn't sound like an actual voice. Like what, it still was there. But it just was very different sounding.
The voice wasn't really there. It was all kind of like a digital interference at that same spot, and then we start talking about we heard both of that, but it didn't come through right.
Yeah, we both heard it, and it was there, but it wasn't. It was very weird sounding.
That's strange. That's very strange.
And of course, most of the things that we've captured, we don't hear with our ears. We hear it later on when we're going through stuff. Like
that's great.
We had one experience, and it was the manager of the place and myself, and we were talking, and you can tell we never hear this voice because we're talking about what's going on, and this voice tells us to get off. It says, get off. And we never react to it because we didn't hear it in real time. And when we played it back, of course, that was pretty cool. So
that's something. So yeah, it's moments like that where you're not really scared, but like, wow,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't scared at all. I thought it was awesome that we both heard that.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you that rush that you want to keep going. It's stuff like that wants you to keep going.
Yeah, that's true.
This hour went by quick.
Yeah,
it's already over?
You need to do this again. We aren't through with you, dude.
Absolutely.
I have one more questions.
We have so much to talk about.
I get scared when Sarah says something like that.
We're not through with you.
We're not through with you.
Oh, that's funny.
I have a lot of questions.
That's great.
No, that would be really great.
That's awesome.
I have a lot of questions.
Well, if I can end on a piece of advice, so equipment is great. I love equipment. I have a bunch of it, but the best piece of equipment that you can use is yourself, your senses. All the equipment is extensions off of our senses. The worst thing you want to do is go into an investigation and look down the whole time while a spirit is doing jumping jacks in front of you and you're not even paying attention to it because you're too busy looking at the EMF detector. So that's one of the main reasons why I have instruments that record so I can review it later. So equipment's great, but remember to use yourself first. Use yourself. Use your senses.
Very good.
All your senses.
Yeah, I know. And we had a whole bunch more stuff we could have talked about, too.
Oh, so much.
Oh, I'll have to do it again. We'll do it again.
That would be great.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, we have another guest tomorrow night, or I'd say just be on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. We'll set something up. We'll make it work.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
If you talk to Dustin, tell him that we need to have him on as soon as he gets some time.
Great.
And Joe. I want Joe. I've missed Joe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to get hold of him, too,
love
but
him.
that didn't go through well.
All right. I'll make a couple phone calls for you. I know I can probably get Joe for you within a reasonable time.
Joe's great. I love Joe.
He's awesome. Very funny guy.
We would like to have all three chins on at once.
That would be fun.
Fantastic, yeah.
Oh, geez. I wish you
I've got at least two, so.
I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much, Cody.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure. You guys
Appreciate
are great.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
Good hunting. Bye.